this is who I am. I know that a lot of people would be surprised about how I was in the build-up to this fight, but the only reason they're surprised is because they don't really know who I am, and that's fine. Like, it's fine, but this is who I am. I'm not faking it. I'm not trying to push anything. I'm being myself. If you know me and you know who Karen Dubois is, then you know that this isn't a surprise. This is me.
Right here.
Caroline, there was a moment after the knockdown in the next round where you were a bit animated towards Terri. Can you talk us through that? I think the referee had to get involved, and just talk me through that and the thought process behind it.
Sorry, no, it was really tricky because she was a lot smarter than I thought she was going to be. She's smart, and she's experienced. She knows how to get through a fight. She knows how to box. And I guess their tactics was to stay away and try and counter. And the annoying thing was I was trying to counter her, and we were both trying to counter each other. That's why the first few rounds were a bit touchy. And when I caught her, I just felt really relieved. Not relieved, but like I knew as soon as I landed, I'm going to hurt this person. And I landed and I dropped her. And I just felt like I could have gone for the gears a little bit more, but a few things happened in the lead to the fight. Today, I woke up with the worst flu I've ever had. I was like, oh my God, all days this is happening. But this was a test, and God gave it to me for me to see how strong I was, and I pushed through, and I was able to get the victory.
Did you agree with the scorecards?
What were they?
I believe, off the top of my head, I can't remember, but they were a bit wide than I personally.
I won every round. I truly believe I won every. What round would you give her? What was she doing? She was just trying to nick the fight, obviously we were both trying to counter each other. But I was busy, I was busy with the jab, I was busy with my combinations. Yes, I was missing a little bit, but I was pushing the pace, and I genuinely felt like there was not one round you could give her. Maybe one if you feel like we were both, the first few rounds I would say we weren't throwing a lot. And maybe there was a drawish round where there was not a lot happening, not a lot landing. But I truly don't see any argument for her winning more than one round.
Over here, far left.
Hey, guys, congratulations for the performance.
Thank you.
You spent some time with Mr. Shields before and after the fight. What did she say to give you advice and guidance for you, if anything? And what did she say in the feedback afterwards?
No. She's a champion. Honestly, she is an amazing woman, and people try to give her shit because of how she acts and what she says, but she down through, she's a good person. She flew away out here, obviously for her fight, but she then drove down here and came to support me. She's a champion. I have nothing but love and respect, and it's now time for me to return the favor. I need to start flying out there for her camps and showing the same love that she's giving me. And I think she's a legend. She was giving me nothing but positivity in the lead up to this fight. We were speaking, and after this fight, she was giving me some words of advice, like, be more busy and stuff. But there was, like I said, there was a few things. Like waking up today, I was just, I was like, no way. Of all days, you come today, and I was as sick as a pig, but, I pushed through.
James.
Caroline, the case was just in for our sport might be next year if you're at Katie Taylor.
Yeah.
But her potential was looking after the last fight. I think that's why you would jump at.
It's a difficult one because I've got a lot of time for Katie. I think she's a legend. If she said, Karen Dubois, let's do this, she wants to test herself against me, I would jump at the opportunity. Who wouldn't? Who honestly would say no to Katie Taylor? She's a legend. It would be an honor to step into the ring with her. But I'm not really fussed about that fight. The fight I'm interested in, that I'm sure all of you think I know what I'm interested in, is Alycia Baumgardner. And I think we'll be able to see who truly is the best. And I believe it's me. That's the fight I want. By the end of the year, there's no need to waste time. There's no need to mess around. Let's make it happen. The best versus the best with 5 pounds difference. She's older than me. She's more experienced than me. Let's see. That's the fight I want. That's the fight I want.
Is that a fight you would take over, say, another unification bout
I would take it over unification bout. I know she's going to run a mile from this fight. I believe she's already spoken to Nikis and said, I don't want that fight. She's going to try and run and slip and slide her way out that fight. And if she wants to say, I can do more, then I'll have another unification. I'll go off to the top. And then we can have it. By the end of this year, we need to make that fight happen. The biggest fight in women's boxing, I want that fight. I want Alycia. I want her next.
Over here, far left.
Caroline, congratulations tonight. It's funny, obviously, you're speaking about Alycia Baumgardner. She has been on Twitter clowning the performance, the fact you didn't get a stoppage, she got a stoppage.
Yeah, she's a drug cheat. I have never in my life failed a drug test, you know, and it wasn't just a light little weight loss drug, a light little, you know, any of that. It was a serious muscle performance enhancing developing drug, and you can say what you want, but look at Alycia post failing that drug and pre-failing. She was explosive, she was powerful, she was dangerous. Then what happened? She failed that drug test and she doesn't look the same since. She can say what she wants. I have never failed a drug test in my life and I never will. I'm not a drug cheat. I don't need drugs. I don't need performance enhancing drugs to be confident in the ring. I stepped into that ring 100% authentically natural. You know, she can't say the same. She cannot say the same. She can say what she wants, but she's failed a drug test for a reason. She is a fucking cheat.
Also, outside of that, sorry, I saw you on a female podcast a little while back saying that, you know, you find it a little bit more tricky to start to make the 135, you only want to do it to big fights. If you can't get Alycia Baumgardner in the ring next, are you still planning to stick around, or are you looking to move on?
No, there's still some interesting fights for me. I want to fight the Turkish girl. She's an interesting fight. She's an exciting fight. People are saying she's going to beat me, so I will love that fight. I know there's Stephanie Hahn hanging about. We'll have to see. Honestly, I'm someone who wants to go after the biggest fights, the most exciting fights. And yeah, I was always want to be involved in the biggest, the most exciting fights, the most exciting nights. Today we did really amazing, and I think everyone showed up and everyone loved the fight. Like I could hear the crowd going, and I was going, and that's what I want. You know, win, lose, draw. I always want to be entertained, and I always want to go out there and do my best. And I feel like the only way you can bring out the best fights is when you fight the best people. I will always chase the biggest fights.
Question for Mike. Has Alycia Baumgardner expressed an interest in the fight with Caroline?
Look, it's something we've talked about internally and with Alycia and her team. Obviously, she's got a tough fight in 2 weeks in our first MVPW show in the United States. So, look, I don't think it's by accident that they're kind of synced from a calendar perspective, but you know, it has to make sense for everybody.
Here in front.
Hey Caroline, congratulations. There's a stat that came out in the news a couple of weeks ago that says women's participation and interest in sport has increased over 40%. How important do you think having nights like this showcasing women's talents, not just in boxing, is good for the UK being accessible on sports?
No, one thing I'm so happy about when this fight was made and I found out that it was going to be on Sky Sports, I was just like, yes. You know, I started my career with Sky Sports, and one thing I know as a truth is that Sky Sports have always been a massive push of women's sports, not just boxing but sports throughout. They do the football, they do the boxing, they do the rugby, they do everything, and it's part of their pillars, their philosophy is to push sport, and by pushing sports they push women's sports. So tonight we did a really good show, in women's athletic prowess, and I think we really put it all on the line today. Every single last one of them, we really went out there and showed out, and I'm so proud to be a part of that. You know, I headlined the show, but it wouldn't have been a show without those that were fighting on the undercard. Like I wouldn't have been able to do this on my own. And the crowd turned out, and Sky Sports, you know, they pushed it. They pushed the show, and I'm so happy and so thankful and so proud that Sky Sports have always been a massive advocate behind women's sports.
Caroline, are you planning on being ringside for this year's fight?
Listen, I feel like that's a conversation for Leonardi and Nikisa. I have a feeling she'd be terrified to see me. You know, I love to be ringside. We can talk that fight out. You know, she's full of shit. You know, she absolutely is full of shit. All I can say about that fight is I know I will take her out. You know, there's no way. There is absolutely nothing she can do. Me and her were tailor-made for each other. People say she hits hard, and I know I hit hard. I would love that fight. I think it would be the most exciting fight in women's boxing. It's a fight that makes the most sense, and we need to make it happen by the end of this year.
Just over here.
I would just add that you're welcome at all of our events ringside, so.
Thank you. I feel like she'll be begging and crying, saying, do not bring that girl here.
Caroline, how privileged was it to fight you, especially a few miles up the road? You spent your amateur career at Del Youth.
Yep. No, it was a blessing. You know, I came out the ring and I saw Gary McGuinness. He's the first, I guess, coach that recognized me and accepted me as a female into the gym. And yeah, it was really amazing seeing him. He was my coach in my first ever amateur fight, and he's here supporting me. And yeah, I'm really proud to have that support, and to have my coach, my team, and everyone around me come and support my fights.
Thank you, Stu.
Hi Caroline, well done champ. Lots of movement from telling earlier, just everything earlier around.
Yeah.
She wasn't making you pay when she was making this.
Yeah, but that was because of my head movement. I was slipping and sliding a lot of the punches, and I knew from the first round and how she was going about the first round. She was trying to count me, and obviously I was like, okay, she's trying to count me, so make her mince, make her nervous. And Shane was telling me, put pressure on her, not necessarily with your hand, but with your intentions, your feet, step to her, make her feel the pressure. And I tried to do that. Could have definitely done a bit more, but yeah.
Your feet stopped moving at some point, or was it the body shots?
Whose?
Terry's. You slowed the movement down. Was it the body shots that you slowed her down?
Body and head, I think the head shots hurt her more. I feel like I could have gone down to the body a lot more. I could have done a lot more, but it's improvement. The thing is, what people I guess don't understand is we're thrown into these high-level fights so soon in our career. I've had 13 fights. A guy, if he's had 13 fights, he's still fighting that level of opponents. We're world-class level opponents at 13 fights, so a lot of our learning happens in the ring, and that's why I guess you see that sensitivity. And I've only been in the ring 13 times. I'm still figuring out how to navigate the rounds, how to navigate the pressure, and all that stuff. But I think I did okay today.
You do not like that.
Thank you.
Back here.
Caroline, congratulations, you look great in there. Obviously you had a very hurt in there. Were you just put in not to stop her?
I was and I wasn't. There was like I said, there was a few things in the lead up to this fight. Waking up today, not feeling 100%. I've been walking around with a cold towel on my head, wrapped around my neck. I've got it on now. I was feeling not the best. And I was just telling myself, pace this fight. You don't feel 100%. So don't go out there with guns blazing and not perform. So I know if I pushed the fight and pressed the fight, I could have taken her out, but it was experience, and I'll give her credit. She was very smart. She was trying to be smart as she could today, and she was able to navigate herself and get herself a high danger. So her foot movement was good. Her distance control was okay. She was doing okay.
Caroline, congratulations. Obviously, Alicia's next fight is against a former opponent of yourself. Do you expect Baumgardner to cause Alycia any problems?
I think she's going to fuck her up. She's going to give us some serious problems. Listen, I'm not saying this because I want Alycia to lose the fight. I want Alycia to win. I want her to look amazing. I would love for her to go out there and knock her out, but I don't see that happening. I think it's going to be a really hard fight, and I know she did not want that fight. She wanted Terri Harper, who's a super featherweight. Tells you everything about her. She is not about that life. She's not as gangster she likes to make out to be. She wants to go after the lightest girls, the smallest girls. I saw an interview and she called out Terri Brown. Super featherweight. That tells you what type of time she's on. She's not about that life. She is not built for this shit.
Baumgardner is a heck of a challenger. She really is. It's going to be an excellent fight.
She's got a big head. When I was fighting, I was like, my God. It was like a TV. It was a television. It was built like a truck. I was like, no way. First time in my life I've ever heard my hand was on her head.
In the back.
Hi Caroline, congratulations. Look, the conversation obviously of Alycia has been brewing since Miami. Both each other, thank you so much. Both people are calling each other out during that fight as well. Everyone wants to see it, people want to see it, but like you said, she's kind of hiding away from it. If you could say something directly to Alycia right now to call her out, call this fight, what would you say to her?
Let's make this fight happen. If you're built for this, if you really are gangsters, you like to act like you are, if you're really that girl, that bad bitch that she likes to say that she is, then let's make this fight. Let's find out. The best versus the best, 135 versus 130. Let's make it happen, You say you're that girl. She fought as heavy as 140. She's been in the ring with all the best fighters. So let's do this. Let's make the biggest fight in women's boxing. The ball versus me.
So I have a question. Alycia aside, I think Ellie became the youngest undisputed champion from Britain ever.
Yeah.
You're 25. Is that something? And you missed this because you weren't in here yet. Nikisa laid out the new rule that if you become the youngest undisputed champion
He's gonna buy
from
me
your
a car?
country, in your country, you get a new car.
Hey, I'll
So-
take that. One car went down, so I need a new one.
So is that a new goal?
Yeah, 100%. You know, like I said, my car actually burned down, so I only needed a new one. Yeah, I love that. I love that. Yeah, I'll hold them up to that. Obviously, it's going to be tricky to make the fights. I think it could be potentially quite tricky, but if we can make the fights as quickly as we can, I would love to try and go find the scoop this year, or be involved in the biggest fight in women's boxing.
Give it up, Caroline Dubois.